You know what time it is. Time to hang out with Mr. Coop. With Mr. Coop I, with Mr. Coop I, with Mr. Coop I. Get the latest scoop from Mr. Coop I, from Mr. Coop I, from Mr. Coop I. Hang with Mr. Coop, with Mr. Coop I, with Mr. Coop I, with Mr. Coop I. Get the latest scoop from Mr. Coop I, from Mr. Coop I. Yeah.
Welcome to the Big Scoop with Coop. I'm your host, Coop. Season 8 still going strong, people. If you haven't, make sure you go to the website, thebigscoopwithcoop.com, to catch episodes from Season 1 all the way to Season 8. Big shout outs to everybody that's watching on Facebook right now, facebook.com/The Big Scoop with Coop. Also, everybody that's watching on Instagram, big shout outs to you, IGTV, baby, at Big Scoop with Coop. Also, catch me on YouTube. Go to YouTube and look for the Big Scoop with Coop. Make sure you click like and subscribe. All right, everybody, enough about me. Today's guest that I have, she is doing it big in music. She's doing it big in television, YouTube series, you name it, she's doing it. Miss Mary Kate Wiles. Now, Mary, she's doing it big. I mean, very big on the YouTube scene. She's done things like the Lizzie Bennett Diaries that she starred since the Emmy award-winning show. She's also in a comedy group called Shipwreck Comedy where her boyfriend Sean. Make sure you check that out on YouTube also. All right, everybody, let's go on to see what Mary is up to. Let's catch up with her now. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Mary Kate Wiles.
Big things, like I said, YouTube star. She is a beast with the vocals. I mean, singing galore, acting galore. If you haven't checked her out, like I told you earlier, you better check her on YouTube. Make sure you follow her also. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Miss Mary Kate Wiles. Welcome to the show.
Wow, thank you. What an intro. Goodness. Can you just flatter me all the time? That was so nice.
Hey, why not? I would love to do it. Why not?
Thank you.
Now, Mary, how is your day going so far?
Yeah, it's going okay. It's funny you mentioned singing. I'm actually working on filming a song for my Patreon, and I'm playing guitar, which I do a little bit. I'm not like super proficient in guitar. And of course, anytime I'm trying to record, I can't play it right. So I was getting a little frustrated doing it over and over again. But we'll give it a try again here in a bit.
Oh my gosh. Don't trust me. I believe you're going to knock it down. Trust me. It's going to work for you. Yes, don't even worry about that. Yes. Now, Mary, like I said, you've done a lot in your career already. You haven't even hit the peak, and that's the crazy part for how much you've done already. But, you know, for the people that's following you on YouTube that knows about you already, and for the people that's getting introduced to you for the first time, let's talk about you. Let's talk about your story. How did you first realize that you wanted to become an actress?
Yeah, thank you for asking. So it's kind of nerdy, but I mean, I grew up doing dance classes and choirs, and like I was performing from a young age, but it wasn't until I saw the Lord of the Rings movies for the first time that I was just like, I don't know, it was such an experience for me seeing that in the theater for the first time, where I just was so overwhelmed and blown away by what you could do with a movie, and was so just transported by that story. And that's when I was like, that's what I want to do. Like, I want to go on adventures. I want to be a part of making movies that make people feel as like transported as I was watching that movie. So that was really the thing that kind of did it for me, and it's stuck around. It continues to inspire me, those movies, and so then I just continued to pursue it. I studied theater at USC, and since then have been able to act in a lot of really wonderful productions, a lot of which are online on the web, and movies and TV as well. But yeah, it's been cool.
Wow. And, you know, whenever you watch a movie or anything that triggers a sign from any type of age, it could be young up to present, and you feel it inside of you, you know, that's a sign right there to go for it, to continue your dream. And look at you. You've done it, and it's crazy. If somebody tell you to act, you'll jump out there and act. If somebody can tell you to sing, you'll do it. Now, me personally, Mary, I'm not going to lie to you. I will not sing for nobody. I can hum. I will hum with the best. I will beatbox with the best.
My boyfriend is the same. We won't get him to sing ever, but that's okay. It's
No,
okay.
no. Hey, tell him I feel his pain. I'm me. Yes, if you want me to hum in the background, I got you all day, Mary. Would be the
You
best
know
duet
what?
ever.
We all have different gifts. That is okay.
Yes,
We need great
yes,
singers.
you're right. Now, Mary, you saw Lord of the Rings. It triggered you. It got you to the point where you were ready to do this. You went
hmm
to school for it.
hmm
You took care of that right there.
hmm
Now, what other type of hurdles did you go through to get to where you are today?
Man, I mean, uh, a lot. I mean, acting is difficult. Like it really is a difficult profession. And I remember, one of my acting professors at USC saying on the first day of class, like, if there's anything else you want to do, you should go do that thing. And of course, we were all like, yeah, whatever. But then after you truly do pursue it as a career for a few years, you start to realize like, oh, this is why they said that, because it's just hard. It's just a hard life. No matter what, even I think even super successful movie stars, I'm sure, have had times in their careers that are just difficult and dry, and like you just have to wait, months and months between jobs, and that can get really difficult, especially when it's a situation where, as an actor, you are constantly going on auditions and you are not booking most of those auditions. Like you book one in, every 30 or 40 or 50. And that's cool. And those jobs are obviously like gifts. And from the outside, you just see the work that you do get to do. But everybody watching doesn't see all those auditions that you go on or that you get close to, or you like almost book this big role and then you don't. And doing that over and over and over again is really tough. It's really hard, I think, for anybody. All of my friends that are actors, I think, can relate. Um, that said, like, I think, and this is probably true for many different professions, musicians, any type of artists, anytime the work is not something that's like day in, day out guaranteed, you just kind of have to find a rhythm and figure out what brings you, the joy in it when you aren't necessarily getting, because booking jobs is out of your control. You can
Yeah.
only do so much. So what can you do to keep yourself busy and feel active and fulfilled so that you don't sort of fall into that like pit of despair when things aren't, happening? Because no matter what, like there will be those times. And that's the tricky part, I think.
That's so true. That's very true. And Mary, I want you to stop me if I'm lying on this. And in this industry, in this business, 100 no's equals one yes.
Yes, it
So
is so
you will
true.
hear it.
Yes.
Yes, you'll definitely hear it. Ladies and gentlemen that's watching worldwide right now, I hope you're taking notes right now because Mary is dropping some bombs right now. And you want to make sure you do take down notes, especially if you're trying to get into this industry and it's your first time. I'm telling you, don't think that you can just walk into Hollywood or say, I'm going to move to Los Angeles. I'm going to move to Hollywood and I'll become a movie star.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work that way.
It's so true.
It's like hitting the lotto.
Yeah,
If
it
one
is.
every million would do it.
And you just gotta know that and be prepared, and if you go into it knowing like, okay, this is gonna be hard, um, then you can get through it. But if you don't prepare yourself for that, I think no matter what, like even like I said, even people who are very, very successful, like their overnight success took years and years and years. Nothing happens just immediately. So, and that said, like every little success that you do get is like awesome. Like that's so worth celebrating because every little step closer is like a huge, success. That's so awesome. That's so great.
That is so true. That is so true. So, Mary, I see that you took your gift, and every time you received a yes, I see you ran like Forrest Gump with it, and you grabbed that thing and you ran through the door and you busted it down. You really did. And I hope everybody understands that the following that you have and the things that you have been able to do, it was nothing. It's a blessing that you can get there. A lot of people want to get there. And also, it's something that you said earlier, Mary, that caught my attention. And I got to correct you on this. You said super successful actors. Now, I hate to say it, Mary. You are a super successful actor. And I will tell you the reason why I say that. because a lot of people get discouraged in this
Yes.
business
Yes.
and they quit and they
Mhm.
don't try
Mhm.
and they say, how come I didn't make it? If you make it through these doors and you get into this business, you are super successful. So
That is so true.
that puts you in this category.
Thank
That's
you.
you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
yes.
I
Now,
am definitely thankful for all the successes that I have had for sure. But no matter what, you're always looking at like the next level up, going, ooh, like I want to be there. So
mhm.
you got to learn to balance, like, yeah, acknowledging like, yes, this is great and what I have is great, while also being like, but I want to make it up to the next step.
That's very true. Very true. Now, I know you said it is hard in this business. Now, did you have any mentors to help you out on the way up in this industry?
Yeah, I mean, I had some wonderful, wonderful professors at USC who have really like the one I mentioned earlier. That was Mary Jo Negro. She was wonderful, and her words have really stuck with me. I worked with a gentleman named John Rubenstein who has continued to check in with me throughout my career. Brian Nelson was a professor I had who's just constantly been like so kind and supportive. So I'm really thankful for sort of the faculty at USC and how like involved they were in their students' lives and careers. But also, I would say in terms of mentors, like I am also really thankful sort of with the creative community that I've found. Especially these last few years. I mean, we're all around the same age, we're all around the same place in our career, but I'm just constantly encouraged and supported and inspired by those people. And it's really wonderful to sort of have a creative community where you lift each other up and you are able to sort of relate when things aren't maybe going so well, but continue to encourage each other to keep going. And that's been invaluable to me for sure.
That's what I'm talking about. Big shout out to everybody at USC that's watching right now.
Yeah.
You helped this woman get to where she's at. Thank
Yes.
you. I'm personally thanking you on that. Now, Mary, you've done something on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's an understatement. You've done a lot of things on YouTube,
A few
but
things, yeah.
there's a comedy group that you're with,
Yeah. Yes.
and it's called Shipwreck Comedy.
Yeah.
Tell everybody about Shipwreck and what's going on with Shipwreck.
Yeah, thank you for asking. So, Shipwrecked Comedy is a group that I have with my boyfriend, who I mentioned earlier, who doesn't like to sing in front of people. Um, His name is Sean Prasad, and he started the group with his sister, Sinead Prasad, back in 2013. And I acted for them in one of their productions, Kissing in the Rain, around that time. And then later on, a couple years later, obviously, Sean and I started dating. We've been together for almost 7 years now, so it's been a
Wow.
while. We started dating, and he's also a writer. He and Sinead write for the group, and they were working on this project, this series called Edgar Allan Poe's Murder Mystery Dinner Party, which when I read the script, I just thought it was the best script I'd ever read. I thought it was so clever and so fun and so funny and so smart. And that's when I went like, I want to make sure that this gets seen, because the idea that like they had written this great script and then, if nobody were ever to see it, it would just make me so sad. So I was like, I want to do whatever I can to make sure that we make this and that it gets out there. And so that's kind of when I came into the group as a producer as well, which again is not really something I ever saw myself doing. When I graduated acting school, I thought I'd just be an actor, but I think more and more, so many actors are producing their own work, and I definitely have found it so invaluable in terms of just kind of like helping you learn about the experience, and it will only help you be a better actor knowing just what all goes into a production from start to finish. And yeah, so I helped Shipwrecked make that show, and it's gone from there. We've made a bunch of other things, and it's like being a part of Shipwrecked is such a joy for me personally, sort of like what I was saying before, like acting is so hot and cold and up and down that it's really nice to have something to focus on no matter what, something that you can keep yourself busy with and something that you care about, because, you can't always choose your roles with acting. You kind of have to take what you're given. So being able to work on projects that you are genuinely passionate about and that you want to be a part of is so fun and so fulfilling. So yeah, that's Shipwrecked. We do some kind of nerdy comedy, but I love it. A lot of our stuff has like a literary or a historical feel, and yeah, it's brought me a lot of joy for sure.
Now, how can everybody watch Shipwreck?
Yeah, so we're on YouTube. Just search Shipwrecked Comedy. You can watch Poe Party, the series. It's an 11-part series that we made in 2016. We also have a pretty long short film called The Case of the Gilded Lily, which is a film noir. And we have a bunch of other smaller shorts and sketches and all kinds of stuff. So
make sure, everybody, you go to YouTube and watch Shipwreck Comedy. Not right now. You're watching this interview.
When
After
this is done.
this interview, yes,
Yeah.
go to YouTube, Shipwreck Comedy. You want to definitely check this out. Big shout outs to Sean also. Sean, you're doing your thing also, man. I've caught you on YouTube. I've seen you. Yes, continue.
I'm pretty proud of him, but yeah.
You should be. You should be. Now, also, like I said, make sure you go to YouTube, check them out. You don't want to miss this. You definitely don't. Now, Mary, I'm wondering because, see, you wear like 3 different hats.
Yes.
So you got the music, you got the acting. Now we learned that you actually produce. Yeah. Which hat right now do you feel like is the most tiresome or the most challenging hat right now to wear?
That's a good question. Well, I wouldn't say, as far as the singing goes, that's not, like, I do love it and I do it, but it's not really my main jam. I'm not pursuing a career in music. But yeah, probably the producing. That definitely takes, and it's also like, yes, with Shipwrecked, but also I have a Patreon myself, and I produce a few different things that I do on my own. I do this Anne of Green Gables podcast where my friends and I read through the Anne of Green Gables books. So I work on that pretty constantly. So yeah, producing is time consuming, but again, like, it's taken me sort of a while to figure out, like, what do I love and want to put in all this time to, and likewise, like, feel like I'm getting back. You know, if you're working on something that is fulfilling you and making you feel like, you know, it just is exciting to work on those things, even though it is a lot of work. And so I'm happy that I've been able to find stuff like that I feel that way about.
Nice. Now, like I said, now you talking about finding things to be happy about. Now, there's a certain show or series that you are starring in.
Yes.
And I think you know what I'm about to go with on this one.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is an Emmy-winning series. That's the crazy part. Like I told you, you're everywhere, Mary. You're everywhere. This is crazy.
Thank you.
The Lizzie Bennett Diaries.
Yeah.
Tell everybody about it.
Yeah, man, it was something else. So we made the Lizzie Bennett Diaries back in 2012, and it did win an Emmy for interactive media, I think, something like that. And it was a modern vlog style adaptation of Pride and Prejudice. And I got to play Lydia Bennett, who is the younger, very energetic sister. And I grew up loving Pride and Prejudice. So, like, when I heard about this project, I was immediately really excited about it because it's one of my favorite stories. I never would have thought that Lydia Bennett would be the Bennett sister that I would play. I relate a lot more to Jane or Lizzie. But yeah, I don't know. It was such an amazing experience, and a lot of the work and sort of the following that I've been able to sort of gain has come all from Lizzie Bennett. It was such a huge production and such a huge, like, moment. It was just unlike anything that had ever really been done before, and it was really cool. I don't think I'll probably ever have an acting experience quite like it. Yeah, it was awesome. It was really, really neat. All of our characters had Twitters and Instagrams and social media, and we sort of would shoot the show month to month. So it was almost like we were living it as it was happening. And it just got so popular that so many people were talking about it and enjoying it. And, like, that's cool. Like, that's so fun to be making something and see people immediately, like, latch onto it and love it and connect with your character and talk to your character on Twitter, which is just, like, wild. So yeah, it was such a joy. It was a really cool thing to be a part of.
Now, how can everybody see this? How can
Yes.
everybody see Lizzie?
Just search the Lizzie Bennett Diaries on YouTube. The company is called Pemberley Digital, but if you search Lizzie Bennett on YouTube, it'll pop up. It's gained quite a few views at this point, and there's 100 episodes total.
Wow.
It's actually the longest filmed version of Pride and Prejudice that exists. It's like over 8 hours long altogether, which is pretty wild.
Ooh.
And sometimes people will be like, "I just binged Lizzie Bennett this weekend," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, go outside. You're okay." It's like so much. But yeah, it was such a joy to be a part of.
Nice, nice. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, add it to your watch list. You're gonna
Yeah.
be on YouTube for a while. So
Yes,
make
you
sure.
will be. Be sure and take breaks.
Yes, yes. Like Mary said, go outside. Take take like 20 commercial breaks, then come back in and
Yes,
finish watching it. Yes,
yes.
make sure you do that. Now, you have a title that people call you, and it's crazy that you've done this also. You are the queen of Kickstarter.
That's very
How
funny.
in the heck did you do this? Like, how did you get this title?
I don't know. That's a good question. I've been a part of so many projects that have crowdfunded, that have run Kickstarters to get funded, and thankfully they've all gone pretty well. All together, my various projects have raised almost $1 million that way, and yeah, it's wild. I think it's just really cool that people care so much about like the stories that we want to tell, that they want to give us money to make those stories. And I think that's like such a cool model, and it allows the creators to really make what they want to make, and it shows that there's an audience for that. And I know that all the various projects that I've been a part of that have kickstarted have just like, there's automatically this like bond between the show and the audience, because the audience feels like I helped do this, like I helped make this. And in the same way, the creators are like, we owe this to our audience, because we wouldn't be making it if it weren't for them. And it's really special. And yeah, I don't know, I'm just obviously very thankful that I've been able to be a part of so many that have been so successful.
And that's crazy, Mary, because there's a lot of people that's tried to go on Kickstarter and they say, man, I can't raise nothing between that and GoFundMe and all these other sites out there.
Yeah.
And you are like knocking it out the park.
Thank
I
you.
mean, do
It's
you
not
have,
easy for sure. Like, I don't
yeah,
mean to, like, it's definitely work to like put on a successful Kickstarter. And I have learned that firsthand. I mean, at first I was just kind of a part of these projects as an actor. And then with Poe Party, I started like running them myself as well. And so you definitely learn, like, you got to put in the work. But again, like, it just ends up being so fun and fulfilling and exciting.
now, do you feel that a lot of people that try to do the Kickstarter, they just throw it out there and think that they're going to magically throw money at you? Do you think that a lot of people are messing up that way without
I think
promoting what they're doing?
Yeah, I think sometimes. I mean, obviously, it's hard to say like across the board, but yeah, I would definitely encourage people, if they're planning on doing something like that, to like have a plan. And that's the hardest part, is because a lot of times Kickstarters get a lot of excitement right at the beginning. It's really fun, and you post about it, and then like they raise some money, and then after that, it just kind of like sits and nothing really happens. So you have to have a plan to like keep people excited, keep finding new people. You can only reach out to your friends and family so many times. You got to find ways to sort of reach beyond that group and bring in new people, and keep your Kickstarter campaign something that's exciting and interactive for the people who are helping you fund it, because then again, like, they just feel more a part of it, and they're going to be more excited to try and help you succeed. Um,
Mhm.
yeah. So yeah.
That's so true. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're taking advice. Once again, I hope you're writing this down. If you're thinking about starting a project, if you're thinking about doing any of this, especially through Kickstarter, hope you heard what Mary said. Make sure you don't just put it out there and just let it sit there. You got to promote, and you can't, like Mary said, you can't go to your family and friends every time. There's billions of people in the world.
Yeah.
Stop using those same 20 or 30 people to try to raise $1 million.
Yeah, give those
Stop it,
people a
people.
break.
Yes, yes, they have bills to pay and things they want to do too. So make sure you go to other people. Make sure you do it. Now, Mary, name some of the other shows and movies, things that you have worked on. Can you name some of them out there so people can actually look for them also?
Yeah, absolutely. What haven't I talked about? Well, I have a show that's coming out right now. It's called Wayward Guide for the Untrained Eye, and that show is both a show and a podcast. So, my character in the show is a podcast reporter. So the companion podcast is the in-world podcast that she makes in the show with her brother Paul. So that's really fun. That's coming out right now on the Tin Can Brothers YouTube channel. Um, what are some other things? I'm trying to think now. We talked about Lizzie Bennett. We talked about Poe Party. We talked about Kissing in the Rain. Squaresville is a show I did many years ago that I really love and have a lot of love for. Would definitely recommend people check that out. Also on YouTube. I was in a film called The Sound in the Shadow. I've done a few independent films, Murder in the Dark. Those are ones that I would suggest people check out. And I'm trying to think if there's any other big thing that I've missed. Those are the main points, I think.
Hey, nice, nice. Everybody, make sure you do go check this out. I want you to make sure you check out all these movies and shows that Mary has been in. YouTube is going to be your best friend, people. Make sure you go out there, you search, you will find. You definitely will find.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, Mary, what is the best way for everybody to follow you on social media so they can keep up with what you're doing?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter or on Instagram. MK Wiles is my handle, both of those places. I'm also on Facebook and Tumblr, but Twitter and Instagram are kind of my main jams. So
nice, nice. Everybody, make sure you go follow her on Twitter and Instagram. You want to keep up with Mary to see what she's doing. You never know what she's going to pop up with doing next. You never know. Exactly, exactly. Now, Mary, for all these people that's watching right now, what advice would you give any male or female that wants to become an actor, or actress, singer, producer, that wants to get in this whole industry? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, I mean, again, sort of going with what I was saying before, I think you have to know that it's going to be difficult. But if you, no matter what, whether that's acting, filmmaking, music, producing, I don't know, gardening, whatever it is you like, baking, but I think no matter what you go into to achieve, what you truly want, it's not going to be easy. But if you can find a way to push through those hard times, be flexible, be like open to what comes your way. I never could have imagined 10 years ago that my life and career would look like what it looks like now. I never thought I would be producing. I never thought I'd be working on making my own things. Know what YouTube series were, you know what I mean? Like, so much has come my way that I never could have imagined. And it maybe isn't exactly what I thought my career would look like, but it's brought me so much joy and so much fulfillment. And I think, yeah, just be open to new things and what life brings your way, and just do what you can to continue to find the joy in the work that you do, and surround yourself with great people.
Nice, nice. You heard it here first, people. Mary just dropped jewels through this whole interview. Now, make sure you stay, like she said, stay open. You want to make sure if opportunity comes your way, jump on it. Make sure you jump on it, but make sure you jump on something that will be suitable for you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to be a person in a cat suit running around doing flips and you can't do a flip in a cat suit, don't do it. But anything that comes your way, exactly. Make sure you do jump into this, guys. Opportunities are out there, and you want to make sure that you capture the opportunity that's coming your way. It don't have to be in this industry, like Mary said. It can be baking, gardening, whatever it is. Go for it. Now, Mary, last segment of the show.
Yes.
It's called Take the Floor.
Oh, man.
Now, you have up to 2 minutes to say whatever you want to say. No questions asked, Mary. Mary, take the floor.
My time. Well, I don't know how I can say anything but what's going on in the world and our country right now. The election is a week away. It is such a crazy time in this country, and I have been very vocal on social media. I just hope everyone will use their voice and vote. And that's the most powerful tool that we have to affect the change that we want to see in this country and this world. And it's never been more important than right now, to stand up for the future that you want to see. I just hope that everybody will do that. And Black Lives Matter, and let's make this world better for the next generation. So
Yes.
yeah.
Nice. Everybody, like Mary said, go out there and vote. If you want change, go vote. Your voice counts. Your vote counts. The thing is, back in 2016, don't quote me on this number, but I think it was close to 100 million people did not vote. And everybody that did not vote said, oh, it's just my vote. It doesn't count.
Yeah.
100 million people said the same thing.
Yeah.
Two things could have happened. One, we could have had a new president that we don't have now. Or two, we could have the president we have now and they would have way more votes. So I was just letting you know your voice counts. Get out there and vote. Now, Mary, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure.
Yes, I would love to have you back on in the future.
Absolutely. I'd love to be back anytime.
Nice. All right, everybody. Make sure you stay tuned to the next episode. My next guest, I will not announce. You have to stay tuned to find out. Make sure you go on Instagram, Twitter, follow Mary, go to YouTube. As soon as the show is over, binge watch, but take breaks like Mary said. Go outside, come back and watch. You want to make sure you do all that. Exactly. All right, people. Yes. Until the next episode on the Big Scoop with Coop.
Thank you.